What is going on, my crazy 76er fanatics, guys? Thanks for stopping back in for another daily pod with your daily 76ers discourse and discussion. I want to give a huge shout out and a huge appreciation to all the likers, all of the commenters, and especially all of the subscribers, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for keeping this channel growing and going. Thank you all for helping us continue the conversation about the Sixers. Because we need to talk about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, I want to say, is back. I may be jumping the gun here, and I may be the first one to make a few assumptions, but I think Joel Embiid is back, baby. Not only did he play a huge and a large portion of the blue and white scrimmage, he was back in live one-on-one action against his teammates. In these one-on-one drills, it's obvious. Not only is Joel Embiid comfortable in the mid-range and the mid-post, but he's the most dominant big man not only this league has had in quite some time, but offensively. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the rim. Joel Embiid can do whatever he wants when he wants against whoever he wants to. And that was evident. One thing that Kelly Oubre said about these one-on-one exhibition matches, we can call them, as Joel went up against Kelly, Paul George, Tyrese, VJ Edgecombe. Kelly says that Joel Embiid is a cheat code. Not only is he a cheat code, but we all know that when Joel is playing at his best, he's completely unstoppable. And if you want to see Joel Embiid play, you may get that opportunity this Friday. Sixers head coach Nick Nurse speaking on Joel potentially playing in that preseason finale on Friday. Nick Nurse went on to say, I think there's some chance. Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. It's a little early in the week to decide. We got some thresholds to get over before we get to that point, but it's a possibility. And there's a chance that Joel Embiid suits up for the preseason final, and you get to see him in the closest form of a live 5-on-5 play that we'll be able to see Joel play, live 5-on-5 play against another team. But the latest on Joel, not only is his health better, guys, if you watch Joel throughout not only these one-on-one sessions, not only throughout the blue and white scrimmage, if you look closely, there's no knee brace. And if there is a knee brace, he's covering it up extremely well, and it's not that bulky juggernaut of Iron Man armor suit of a knee brace that he had and wore last season. If Joel Embiid is going to continue to be playing at the same rate of what they're displaying, not only is his body looking extremely healthy, but Joel Embiid seems primed and ready for another MVP season. I would love to think that Joel Embiid is back to his MVP form. He looks slimmer, he looks trimmer, he looks faster, and most importantly, guys, dominant. He has not taken a step back from his dominance. His mid-range game is still insane, and apparently he's one of the best three-point shooters the team has. Another good three-point shooter this team has, Andre Drummond. Guys, who will be this team's backup big before the preseason was underway? I thought we all could agree that Adem Bona brought more physicality, more upside, more vertical ability, and most importantly, more rim protection than Andre Drummond. But one thing that in the NBA is the most important quality to have on the court at all times, that is maximum floor spacing. And you may not believe this, guys, but Andre Drummond leads this Sixer team in a three-point percentage throughout the playoffs. That is a fact. No. That is a fact. Andre Drummond leads this team in a three-point percentage throughout the preseason at 75%. And head coach Nick Nurse went on not only to highlight Andre Drummond's three-point emergence, but also say that he makes these shots pretty consistently. Nick Nurse went on to say, if you were to watch his drill numbers in practice, he does make a high percentage. The reason I say I'm not sure is I just want to see if he can get them in some type of rhythm in a real game. Everyone knows practice shooting versus in-game shooting comes with not only a different pressure, a different in-game rhythm, and a different in-game flow, but some people just are lights out in practice and seem to be shooting with the lights out in the gym in game and can't make a shot. So Andre Drummond, who's never been known to be a three-point shooter, who has also been known to be a poor free throw shooter, but he has been constantly improving. And one thing I will not knock Andre Drummond for is his offseason work and offseason preparation, because it seems to be every offseason, as he loses a step in athleticism and in physicality, he gains a few points in skill. And I like Andre Drummond being a more skilled big than Adem, because being a veteran in this league, that's exactly what you should have a plethora of in comparison to a player who's only been in the league for 2 seasons. So Andre Drummond is more skilled, but he also seems to be one of the better shooters, three-point shooters this team has. If Nick Nurse is going to highlight that in practice, this guy is shooting those threes at a high percentage, and you're seeing him knock down these threes comfortably in the preseason. So comfortable about his three-point shot that he even tried to do the Steph Curry turnaround three, which did turn to a meme, but potentially, guys, if he's knocking down these threes and feeling comfortable enough to turn around like Steph, you may have to make Andre Drummond the backup big for maximum spacing. Because Adem, who is a huge threat in that dunker spot, realistically, has no reliable jump shot. And if you take Adem to the free throw, you're, again, not sure if those are guaranteed points for your squad or a good foul for the other team. Maybe the backup big, as Adem continues to progress and process in being a skilled player, not just a motor and a battery. Potentially Andre Drummond early on to the season could stretch the floor, show that three a little bit, and potentially be the greatest rebounder in NBA history, which, for his argument standpoint, Andre Drummond is one of the greatest rebounders in NBA history. He said he wasn't healthy last season. Well, this season, he seems to be as healthy as ever been, because he lost weight. Nick Nurse says he's moving great, and that jump shot is as good as it's ever been, guys. That backup big position is wide open, and you're going to figure out who that backup big is going to be come this preseason finale or final. It's going to be a huge game. You really don't want to miss it, because a lot of positions, we're still trying to figure out how they're going to be played and how they're going to be covered. But how deep is this team really? We got to look at this team position for position, position group for position group, guards, forwards, and then bigs or centers. Obviously, guys, this guard position is absolutely loaded. One of the best guard rooms in the NBA, and one of the best at having depth at that guard position on the bench, in the starting lineup. I mean, even the bench players, who we're not sure if it's going to be Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, or VJ Edgecombe, even the bench players would be starters on multiple squads in the NBA. And even the bench players have starting player capabilities. Like, I'm talking about 20-point per game capabilities in Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain. I'm not sure if you start VJ Edgecombe. It seems like Nick Nurse is leaning to starting VJ Edgecombe, not only so VJ Edgecombe, because good players play better around great players, so surrounding VJ Edgecombe with a starting squad of Maxey, Embiid, and a plethora of other talents would allow VJ Edgecombe to fully shine, because he wouldn't be counted on or relied on to have a huge usage, a huge workload, and to be the offensive officiator, initiator, and scorer. VJ Edgecombe would potentially just be the Lou Dort of the team, the defensive reliever, the occasional three-point shooter. He would not be asked to be the offensive workload the way he would be if he was coming off of the bench. So I expect VJ Edgecombe to start. I expect Jared McCain to come off this bench, especially because Jared McCain won't be ready for the start of the season, especially because Jared McCain is still recovering from injury. And truthfully, he's as green as the other second-year players from last year. Justin Edwards got more reps. VJ Edgecombe has less reps than Jared, but who knows who's more NBA ready today with the injury, with the in-game speed, and with the training camp physicality. Who knows how Jared McCain is going to be ready for the season? How deep is this team? The guard position, A+ in depth. The forward position, it's like a D- in depth, guys. It's probably the worst position group this team has. You've got Kelly Oubre, Justin Edwards, Paul George, but in terms of having real reliable forwards, forwards that can stretch the floor, forwards that can shoot the three, forwards that can play defense, there's not a plethora of strong two-way guys outside of Paul George. And because Paul George isn't healthy, and because of what he displayed last season, you really have to question how good that group is just based off those three guys alone. I really don't like the potential of the rotation of that forward depth. And then you go bigs, guys, because there are some bigs that could potentially sneak into that forward group. But Johnny Brome, I'm not trusting his three-point shot. Adem Bona, who can play power forward, I trust him more as a big. Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid. Guys, this big lineup, this big depth with Joel Embiid and MVP, you got to put it at an A+. But if you take Joel Embiid out and you look at Johnny Brome, Adem Bona, and Andre Drummond, that's like a C+ squad too, guys. Depth and having a lot of skill at a certain position. This team is top heavy and bottom weak, which means they have star players in Paul George and Joel Embiid carrying the workload for the bigs, for the forwards, and Tyrese Maxey for the point guards. But in terms of the guys falling behind them, Kelly Oubre behind Paul George, Adem Bona, Andre Drummond behind Joel Embiid, it's really unreliable and it's truthfully unpredictable. So not only would I love to see this Sixer squad make a trade for a guy like Lauri Markkanen, because apparently Lauri Markkanen, guys, would and could be on the move by the trade deadline. If you want size, if you want depth, and you want youth, plus accountability, Lauri Markkanen for Paul George would be a perfect trade, not only for this team, but for the Utah Jazz, because Paul George could be a leader, could be a teacher to those guys of Bryce Sensabaugh, Ace Bailey, Walter Clayton. I'm talking about offensively, Paul George has a huge bag and a huge wheelhouse of tools that he could use and potentially teach those young guys how to use them daggone selves. On top of that, guys, and on top of a Lauri Markkanen trade, guys, there are smaller trades out there that could be made, potentially should be made. Simon Fontecchio right now is for the Miami Heat. I can't believe the Heat got Simon. I don't know what Daryl Morey has been doing, but Daryl Morey, there are players out there that can potentially help this team and make this team better. A Malik Beasley acquisition would only make this guard depth and this guard lineup a lot better, which means you would take the four guards that you know are reliable, and Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, I think one of them should and could be cut. You add Malik Beasley, you could potentially have a movable and a tradable asset in VJ, in Jarrett McCain, and if Quentin Grimes is looking to waive it to see who will be able to sign him for a long-term deal and a potential extension, Quentin Grimes may waive that no-trade clause, and bringing in Malik Beasley would give this team the spacing and the depth they need. How deep is this team really? I'd say at the guard position, too deep to talk about. At the forward and big position, needs a lot of work, because if you take Joel Embiid and Paul George out of those lineups, guys, none of those lineups seem to be successful. None of those lineups seem to be threatening, and none of those lineups seem to be dangerous for a playoff squad. None of them. Speaking of how deep, though, Trendon Watford did not only play for the preseason finale, he probably won't be suiting up, guys, but he's struggling to make his on-court debut with his squad because of his hamstring injury. Head coach Nick Nurse went on to say that Trendon Watford did do some introductory stuff in practice today, so you could imagine that there's still a little ways to go before he is even ready to get on or get out there for some live action. But when Trendon Watford is ready to play, we're not sure what Trendon Watford does bring to this team and how he strengthens this forward depth. But according to Tyrese Maxey, he's exactly what this team needs in terms of an on-ball creator, in terms of a potential power or point forward. Trendon Watford could be that guy, guys. The depth of this team is a huge question because the health of this team is not shored up and is not solidified, guys. But one thing I want you guys to solidify, to do, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, guys, because these comments that you guys have been leaving have been hot. I can't wait to address these comments, guys, but tomorrow we're going to get to all these comments, all of these likers, all of these subscribers, and all of the crazy things you guys have been leaving on these channels comments, guys. We have to address them. We'll be doing it tomorrow, guys. That's Scout's honor. That's a promise. But thanks for stopping in for another episode of your Sixer Daily Podcast.